Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbprou.com.
Okay. Good evening and welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and look forward to having a great show tonight. Hopefully you're having a great summer, enjoying the nice weather, at least this week. Hopefully you didn't get caught on the floods on Sunday evening. And looking forward to chatting about a topic that we haven't really covered in 4 years, which is kind of amazing. But today we're going to talk about how to turn your business into a franchise. So whether or not you actually want to create a franchise or not, this is a good idea. And sometimes, you may not realize that your business would be a good candidate for a franchise. So, we have a franchise expert on with us tonight, James Hilovsky. And we're going to talk to him about franchising, creating businesses that might be franchisable, and creating businesses that are sustainable and can run without you. So really looking forward to digging into that tonight. Thanks again for joining us. And feel free, as always, to ask questions, post comments in the chat. And let's get started. So let me bring James on. Hey, James, how you doing tonight?
Great. Thank you for having me, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me. Definitely appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us and share your knowledge.
Absolutely. It's looking forward to it. It's going to be a pleasure.
Okay. Excellent. So before we get started, why don't we take a minute and just talk a little bit about your journey and introduce you to the audience so they know a little bit about where you're coming from, where you are, what you're doing, before we get started with the conversation.
Yeah. So my journey started at really young age. I was, in high school, was an athlete, played baseball. And during high school, I got a job in a restaurant, fell kind of in love with the restaurant business, was a fine dining restaurant. And then, I went out to play a little minor league baseball and got injured and came back. And luckily that restaurant was there for me and took me back. And I was learning the business. And then I went to work into a QSR restaurant, or fast food type deal. And I worked my way up that ladder, the chain. I was there 25 years in that business. And then a company said, hey, we're going to start a company. We have one store now. We want you to come help build our franchise side. And I will help take that over from one store up to 100 units. And what I did, my role there is I was working with different franchisees there that I supported them. I helped them open the restaurant. I supported them. So that really got, the entrepreneurship kind of flowing. And then the largest franchisee asked me to come work for them and head their operations and partner with them. So I helped him. They were owned by 2 NFL football players. So we course, had our stores there. We did our own ice cream concept on our own. We did our own coffee shop, and then we did another ice cream franchise. Then the one of the brothers, he retired from the NFL, and the other brother, he got hurt, couldn't fulfill the end of his contract, and they kind of decided, we really kind of don't want to we're done with the restaurants. One was into movies and whatnot, and he got into that, and they both got into a tequila business, offered me to join that, and I was like, I have nothing against tequila, but it's just not really kind of my passion. So I set out to just start my own business, and what I wanted to do was just tap into helping franchisees, franchisors, in just the small business owners, maybe the person that's in a regular 9-to-5 job, help them transition and find a franchise for them to start, as well as business owners that want to turn their business into a franchise, how to do that. And so that kind of is my journey. That's what I've been on now. It's been a blessing. I've helped many people get a franchise, help franchise many businesses. So it's been quite the journey, and I just absolutely just love what I do, helping entrepreneurs.
Okay, great. So no, it's an interesting journey. Minor league baseball, going through restaurants and franchises. So you sort of really grew up in what you're doing. And one thing, sometimes people look down on franchises as far as it being an employee. But one thing I found is you can make a lot of money as an employee at a franchise also, if you move up the ranks a little bit. So that's something, there is money in franchising, not just for the owners, as I'm sure you found as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you're in a franchise system, you don't really have all the red tape of a corporate system, of the red tape and politics. It's a smaller unit. If you prove yourself in a franchise system, the franchisee is going to definitely see that and know that, and then going to reward you by moving you up the ranks and putting you in charge of his or her organization. It's just it's a much easier path without all the politics, the red tape, and just a really good way to go.
Excellent. So no, definitely. So let's take a sec before we get started. I just have a quick intro to the Small Business Pro University, because this is one of our Brain Trust initiatives. So it's good to sort of know a little bit more about the university, and then we'll get back on talking small business. So let's take a look. What's this? Many small businesses experience low or no revenue growth, and the owners are not making enough money. I founded the Small Business Pro University to help business owners break that cycle by empowering them with greater knowledge and enhanced skills to lead their companies more effectively. Over the past 15 years, I've worked one-on-one with more than 1,000 business owners and taught tens of thousands of people about business. My experience includes serving as a Navy officer, graduating from MIT, earning an MBA from NYU, and achieving the CFA designation. Small Business Pro University empowers entrepreneurs like you to run their businesses more professionally and create sustainable enterprises. Small Business Pro University provides access to valuable resources, partnerships, and relationships that will help you to grow revenue, increase profit, and obtain financing faster and easier. Our Masterpreneur initiatives include more than 100 expert-led multimedia courses and training programs with more than 2,500 lessons. The Small Business Pro Network, our private community for entrepreneurs. Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, our weekly live stream and podcast. Advanced Learning Institutes, focused on revenue generation, profit maximization, and capital acquisition. And the Power Breakfast series, in-person events where business owners learn best practices, enjoy great networking, and gain useful knowledge. If you want to sell more and make more, you need to check out Small Business Pro University. visit our website at www.sbprou.com. Welcome back. I'm here with James talking small business. Our topic tonight is how to turn your business into a franchise. At the end of the day, I always like to start at the beginning, James. So what is a franchise? Just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, so a franchise is a company that basically will give you the playbook to run a business. So a franchise is there to give you support in the opening support, securing locations, training support, as well as ongoing support. So the reason why you go with the franchise is because a franchise they've been in business. They've experienced a few hiccups along the way, so you don't have to experience that anymore. And it's a much better alternative than trying to do something on your own. Would be to go the franchise way, where they're going to give you that unlimited support. They've already went through the potholes, and they will have the playbook to help you succeed.
Excellent. So, okay, so the franchise really gives you a head start when you're going into business.
Total head start, total all the equipment you would need if it's a brick and mortar, the relationships you need. They'll help you with marketing. Some if it's a business that does services, they might have a call center for you. So a franchise really is there to support you. I know the myth is, oh, franchises, all they want to do is just take your money and let you go off on your own. And that's furthest from the truth. The more money you make, the more money the franchisor makes. And the last thing they want to do is have a franchisee that's struggling. That doesn't look good for them. So franchisors want to support the small business owner 100%, and they do not want, the last thing they want to do is see them fail.
Okay. No, definitely. It makes sense. Of course, some are better than others, just like in any endeavor. But, at the end of the day, it can be an opportunity for everybody to win. So definitely, we're talking about franchise. So you're saying, one of the things is they have the playbook. And actually, my most recent book is called The Masterpreneur Playbook. And it's interesting because I'm just going to walk you through like the high level. But, really with the playbook, you have 5 stages of your business going from startup to scaling. So basically working on the concept of your business, working in your business, working on your business. And most business owners never quite make it from working in their business to working on their business, working on the future of your business and scaling your business. And, if you get a franchise, you're actually skipping to step 3 when you're starting out, because working on your business all about optimizing your business model so that you can run it more profitably and more effectively. So a franchise can give you a head start. So now, what does that playbook look like? Definitely, it's a playbook of things, but what's contained in it? How is it? Why is it so valuable, and how do you use it?
Secret sauce of the business, all right there, right? So it's all laid out of, here's your plan. Here's how we're going to support you. Here's what you do. Here's the kind of people you need to hire. Here's what you need to look for of the characteristics that you need to hire people. These are how many you need. This is where you're going to place them. And let's help you find a location. Let's use the demographics to find the perfect location, and just all those little things. And then opening, here's how you're going to open. Here's what you're going to look for a grand opening. They're going to help you set that up, put the playbook in motion, And then once you're open, you still have the guidelines every single day. You could go back to the guidelines and do that. Not only that, too, you can also pick up the phone anytime, call the franchisor, as well as now you're in a big team. So now you're in a big system. So you could just call an existing franchisee in the system that may be down the street, different states, said, hey, I have this problem. What did you do? How did you fix this problem? And they're going to be right there. So it's a big team all looking for and trying to help you succeed.
All right. So it's sort of like when they say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
100%. Absolutely.
Okay. So now, if you're a regular business, you said you had helped create franchisees or franchisors, so you got the franchisor, which is the one that sells the franchises, and you got the franchisee, which is you if you buy a franchise. So now we talked about basically that's step 3 of the Masterpreneur playbook. So you also want to, if you don't have a franchise, that's where you want to go. So if you don't have a business, what are some of the first things? What has to happen before you can potentially be a franchise?
Be a franchisor, starting your business and scaling it. Yeah, so that's a great question. So to become a franchisor, if you have your business, it makes step 4 and 5 so much easier, because if you're looking at scaling it and you have one unit and you go, okay, now I want to scale my business. So you're going, okay, we got to open up location number 2, territory number 2. Well, you're going to have the capital to do that and hire the manpower. If you become a franchisor and scale up, then you don't have to put out that capital. You're going to support your franchisee, but your franchisee is going to put his own capital up and help grow your business. So it is the fastest way to grow a business is to franchise your business, and it is the most effective way because you're not using all your capital to do it. You're using other people's money to grow your business.
Okay. All right. So definitely, from this, definitely your growth plan is about franchising, and then you're scaling it through being a franchisor. But before you can be a franchisor, there's certain things you have to put in place within your business and certain things that have to happen. So if someone wants to be a franchisor, what are the things that you tell them they need to do before they would really even be eligible to be a franchisor?
Yeah, so you want to have a business that's able to be duplicated. You have to be able to teach the business, duplicate the business, as well as in becoming a franchisor. What you want to look for too is you want to look at profitability on time. You want to make sure that you're going to be enticing to come out. Obviously, you probably would have a really hard time selling franchises if your business was producing, $10,000 in EBITDA for a year, and you're trying to get someone to buy your franchise for $100,000 or more. So you definitely do have to have profitability. I would say if you could make it to where after your royalties and everything, if you could make about 6 figures on your business, like 80,000 to 100,000, then you might have a really good concept there. If you could replicate it and be able to do that. And sometimes businesses think, oh, I got to have a 5-year track record. Well, it definitely would help. Don't get me wrong. And perfecting it, that's okay. But we've had some businesses that have franchised their business when they've only really had one really strong quarter, because you also have to know the process takes long to do that. So by the time you would be out to the market, you probably have almost a year under your belt. But really good strong quarter, and you have a great brand, and that can be replicated and duplicated.
Okay, so replicatable and duplicatable. So now, you talked about they have the playbook, but what else do franchisors have for franchisees that helps make it easier for them in business?
So they have the not only the playbook, but the knowledge of the business, what's happened in the business, the pitfalls of the business, the support that is going to be there. And one of the things that when we talk about scaling up and having that support to be able to support franchisees, one of the things that a lot of business owners, when they're looking at doing this, one of the things they will go is like, well, I have a great business, but I'm afraid some franchisee is going to come, steal my idea and take my business. Well, that's why when you do this, you do have protection, what's called a FDD, a franchise disclosure document, which protects you, and you're in charge of your franchise, and you're the one who gets to dictate to the franchisee how they're going to run the business, what they need to do, and they need to be in line and to follow that. And there'll be consequences for them if they don't follow your guidelines. And then also, if a franchisee, you're going to have them possibly sign a non-compete that they cannot get into the same industry in 2 to 3 years after exiting your system. So you are safeguarded as a business owner, because that is always one of the things that comes up, like, well, I don't want people stealing my idea. It's like, no, you're going to be protected in your ideas, and your business will be protected.
Okay, so definitely the FDD you mentioned is the franchise disclosure document. I've seen quite a few because I looked at franchising and work with people who are franchising, and I'd say generally that's probably 100 pages or more, and it has several sections. What are some of the key sections in there that you have?
So the key sections in there would be item 7. That's going to break down the initial investment, what it's going to cost to buy into your business. So you're going to have the franchise fee, which is a one-time fee that's paid to you, the franchisor. It's usually around $50,000 right now. That's going to be in there. And then it's also going to be the equipment you need to purchase, maybe what the estimated rent would be if it's a brick and mortar location, the startup, like a 3-month runway of cash to have there. So it's all going to be broken down to that initial investment that always includes the franchise fee, as well as it will have in that document also will be the royalty structure. Because you as a franchisor, not only you're going to make that franchise fee, that one-time payment, but you're going to get royalties off your top line sales, not the bottom line. Top line sales, 5 to 8% on that as well. So you have that. You can charge a marketing fee, 1 to 2%. And you could charge a technology fee of $200 to $500 if you have technology that they're using. So that'll be out there in the FDD, as well as item 19, which is going to be a little bit of an earnings claim in there that you're going to put how your business does and kind of what the earnings is. Some do it with a full P&L. Others do. This is the top line that we sell. So it all kind of depends how you want to draw it up and what the lawyers, how they want you to draw it up.
So definitely lawyers, if you're going to do a franchise, you got to do FDD. What does it cost to get the lawyers to draw up your FDD? Because I know it's not inexpensive.
Yeah. So, really, so packages really that I help with businesses, you work hand in hand with the lawyer. So the lawyer draws up the FDD for you, goes over it. They're talking with you back and forth on the business. So the lawyer is going to help draw that up with you, as well as the team that helps you, the company. They will help you with your operations manual, because you have to give the playbook. So you have to have a playbook written. So they're going to help you write an operations manual, your your standard operating procedures are going to be in there. You're going to have a safety handbook as well, and different manuals that you need. They're going to help you bundle all that up and produce that for you, as well as you have the FDD, as well as launch you, because you got to get launched after you're a franchise, and they register you all in the registration states out there. But they also do a marketing where they market you in a franchise journal magazines, and then they do franchise expos, their own, that are all across the country, and it features your franchise, your business that's a brand new franchise in it, to where you're featured in this expo of all these people coming looking for franchises. So all of that big bundle of package, you would think, wow, that's 100, 150,000. That's usually going to be about right around $60,000, and you are able to start selling franchises after that big package is done.
Okay, all right. So that's pretty good. Definitely. I guess it depends on how extensive your franchise is, and it's probably cheaper nowadays than it used to be. Because when I was looking at them several years back, I won't say how many. It was probably like $100,000 in legal fees to be able to set up a franchise. So, so that's good. And I guess you got AI, and you got a lot more technology than you used to have. So, so now, we're looking at franchises. You talked about the FDD, helps there not be surprises.
Right.
One other thing that I think is a key for anyone who's thinking about franchising, or, either way, is at the end, you have a list of everybody who owns the franchise and their contact info. So, you have an opportunity to check references and see what's really happening, and talk to people who are on the ground. If you're looking to buy a franchise, you want to hear what it's really all about. And two, if you're creating a franchise, that's another reason to make sure that your people are making money, because you're not going to sell too many more franchises if they aren't. So that's always cool. So now you talked about equipment. Many franchises also may make it easier for you to get inventory, and just a lot of things that you'd have to figure out on your own if you don't have a franchise. In addition, can make it easier to finance. So, so what type of businesses make good franchises? Is there a certain type of business, or what industry, certain type of industry? How do you how do you figure out if your business makes sense to franchise, or you're the right type of business to franchise?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Franchises are in all different industries, many different industries. So you always think of, franchising, that's just food. Oh, no, not really. Franchising is all different industries. Like I said, you have the automotive industry. There's even auto dealerships that are franchised, oil change centers. You have auto glass, the distribution centers where there's recycle bins that are picked up. That's a franchise. There's trash insinuator businesses that are out there that are franchised. Then you have your restoration businesses, your cleaning businesses of cleaning of homes, of cleaning of windows in homes, dog grooming, sports franchises. So you name the industry, it is a franchise. So you could franchise only any business that is successful, that is out there, that you could make into a franchise. So really any business could be considered a franchise, as long as it's duplicable. Can replicate it for sure.
Okay, so definitely, like hotels. You wouldn't think a lot of them are franchises, like you said, but both large and small. So excellent. So now, do do you have to have multiple locations? What's the best way do you need to, what do you have to do first before you should really think about your business as a franchise?
Yeah, you could do it with just one location, and then basically you could go, what do I want my growth to look like? We franchised a couple gentlemen. They had a sports bar, and they had one location, and they decided, our manager's been with us forever. We don't want to lose them. Why don't we franchise? But why don't we franchise and just stay in the area we live in? And we would be happy and get our money back if we just did 5 franchises, maybe in our state, and maybe the neighborhood state. We'll make our general manager. We'll give him this extra role to do. He'll be our franchise liaison that's going to go out there, support the people, open the restaurants up. So they took one, and that's their goal. We had another gentleman. He had a indoor golf studio that is kind of like Top Golf, has food and serves alcohol, food, and you're golfing indoors. He was like, well, I want to be the Top Golf of franchising. He only had 1 unit, but his goal is to grow it to 50 units or more. And he already, before he franchised, has someone in place to run his franchise business, like a franchise business consultant. I would say typically, if you're looking and you're just a sole proprietor, you have 1 unit, you're looking to franchise and grow, I would say, keep the slow build. And really, you really don't need to add any support till you probably get up to around 10 franchises, 8 to 10. And so kind of look at it that way to save money, unless you have that, hey, I got this great product. I think I got this great franchise. I'm just going to hit the ground running, and my whole goal is to sell a bunch and hit it hard.
Okay, great. So, we've covered some great stuff, and we'll just take a little bit of a break real quick. Just want to update people on a couple things that are coming up. Last month, we actually had our Small Business Pro Power Conference, which was great at New Jersey Institute of Technology. And we do 3 events per year. So if you missed that one, you're welcome to join us on November 8th. November 8th, we have our Power Breakfast at the Park Avenue Club and in New Jersey in Florham Park. Definitely worth coming out if you're not here. If you're here, definitely want to check it out. And then the night before, we always do a networking event. So you're welcome to join us there as well. Here's a quick video about the Power Breakfast, and then we'll come back talking small business. If you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences.
My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events, hosted by Andrew Frazier, President and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day.
Okay, welcome back here on Leadership Live. I'm here with James talking small business, how to run your business like a franchise. So, definitely, one of the things I work on with people is going from working in their business to working on their business and creating a sustainable business that can run without you. And really, in those cases, you're pretty much preparing your business to be a franchise if that's the route you want to go, or if not, to continue to grow and move forward. when you have your own business, it can be very challenging to do that. And especially, laid out the 5 steps, but going from working in your business to on your business and optimizing your business. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, many times you sort of have like ADD, and it's really hard to focus enough to optimize your business. You've gone through the process, James. How did your team, take the information out of, the heads of the people who understood it and really turn that into, optimizing it so it can be repeatable?
That's a good question. One thing that is first on top of everybody's mind is when a small business owner is looking at franchising and they want to franchise their business, the last thing you can do really is take that person out of their business for hours upon hours on the day. So it's basically kind of Zoom calls with marketing teams and instructional designers of how are we going to document everything. So it might be how are we going to work on this today? So it's maybe an hour or 2 a week of getting information about the business, how to document it, looking at materials that they may already have on how to run the business, implementing them. So the team kind of takes everything back, gleams some things, comes back to the business owner, spends about an hour or 2 of them a week of their time, and then just kind of documents that and just that process to get the documentation in line and in order. But the biggest thing is don't really want to pull that business owner away from the business for hours on hours every day to do this. So it's a pretty streamlined process that the team comes up with.
Okay. So you can do it that way. If you don't have a team and you're trying to do that, is that doable? How might that work? Because a lot of business owners have cash flow challenges, so it can be hard to bring on a team while you're trying to run your business.
Yeah, I was saying the franchise, the team that's going to help you franchise the business, they'll be with the business owner. If the business owner, so that's all the time they will spend no matter what. Because if they decide to franchise their business with a franchising company, that's what will happen. The franchising company's team will do that and not pull them away from the business. Because exactly like you said, the business owner has got, they've got to manage and run their business and can't take them away from that time. So that's exactly why they focus on just doing that for the franchisor.
Okay. All right. So then could really have someone help you do that. What does that cost? Like if you're going through the process, end to end, what's the cost range that might take?
So that cost range is included in that. For most franchising companies, that's included in their services. So for the 60,000 of turning your business into the franchise, that's included in that of getting your everything documented in that. So that's not only is the FDD with the lawyers in that, the marketing and talking about how to get the business owners' thoughts down on paper and put it into words that we could share with other prospective franchisees. That's all included in that package.
Okay, actually, that's really great. It might be worth 60,000 just to have them do that for you and keep your business and just open up more of them, because that's where so many business owners get stuck. You can be making a lot of money, before you are successfully work on your business, but if you can get that type of help, that's really what's going to let you grow.
Yeah, we actually had a business owner that was looking to franchise his business, and he even went to the part of the FDD, but he got that documentation and all that, and he was like, this has helped me immensely, and I think I'm gonna maybe pause right now on franchising and just put this more into use and use it with my own team. And he waited to launch for almost a year, because he had, I mean, it was almost like he unwrapped a new present and had to play with his toy until he wanted to move forward again. So it really does help.
Definitely. And one of the challenges a lot of businesses have is you can go out of business just as fast by growing too much as by not growing enough. And why is that? And how does franchise potentially mitigate that risk?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, growing too fast is definitely a kind of a pitfall of some new franchisors. I think really the reality comes of laying out that plan, and any franchise company that does this would help you with that. Again, like we talked about, what's your plan? What do you envision? Do you want to start slow, maybe 5 to 10 franchises, and just have those people in place so you don't get off the tracks and go, gosh, I'm selling so crazy, I'm losing my mind. And the franchise company that you do and franchise with, they will be in contact with you for quite a long time. So if you're kind of feeling the rails are kind of stumbling, that'll be like, hey, maybe you need to hire another person. Or in franchising too, it is common for a brand new brand called an emerging brand maybe get up to 10 units, and they put a hard pause. They like, hey, we're not taking any more leads, we're not talking to anybody, we'll get all their information, but as of right now, we're paused so we can focus on our operations and support our franchisees. And then when we feel like we have that in order, we'll relook at selling some more franchises. So you can pause and you can hit the stop button and the start button definitely in it if you feel like you're getting too far into it.
Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, definitely having that flexibility is good. Some businesses, like when you have your own business, you don't have the ability to pause, and that can be very stressful because, many times your business is running you instead of you running it. So, as a franchisor, I guess you're at a higher level, and, you're able to manage your growth a lot better and easier. And as well. But also, a lot of business owners going in, if you plan for how you want your business to be, you can set it up on your terms. I mean, that's going to affect how much money you make too. But, if you want to be open 5 days a week, you can do that. A lot of virtual businesses nowadays. My business is virtual. So, if I'm not working, I may not be making any money, but I'm not losing any money. Whereas a lot of businesses, especially brick and mortar, you've got expenses coming down whether or not you're open, and they don't stop. So when you're thinking about having a business, it's important to consider those types of things as well. So now, I looked at buying franchises back in the day and actually buying groups of existing franchises rather than starting from scratch. And, proved a challenge for a number of reasons, but buying a business just in general can be very challenging for a number of reasons. But, I talked to a lot of business franchise owners, and, there's pluses and minuses to franchising from the franchisee standpoint. What are some of the common pluses? We talked a little bit about the pluses, but what are some of the common minuses when it comes to franchising as well as a franchisee?
So as a franchisee looking to buy a business, the minuses could be when you buy any business for that matter, buying a business or even getting started in a franchise business, the minuses could be and are not investigating enough of into what you're buying or what you're getting into. So it's very key when buying a business, franchise business for sure, is what's my protected territory? Am I protected if someone comes in? Do I have, at least 5 miles of protected territory? Two, when you bought the business, did you talk with existing franchisees in the system? Because if you didn't, then you didn't do your homework, and you might have not bought the franchise because the franchisee might have said, oh gosh, I get horrible support. This is not a good business to buy. I wouldn't do this again. It was the worst decision I ever made. So I think really the minus is on the onus of do all sorts of investigations of asking the right questions, talking with the existing franchisees that are in the system, and then also just general one-on-one contact with the franchisor, just to make sure that's going to be a good business partner. Or even if you're buying a business that isn't a franchise, talking with that business owner that's selling it, and then doing some research into it, like doing research on Yelp. Even, is this business that I'm buying, is it a good business? Do customers really appreciate this person? Do they like it? Does it have a good reputation? Because the pitfalls of buying an existing business rather than starting from the ground up is you are inheriting maybe a lot of business problems. So it's very important to do your homework and check and turn over every stone before buying any type of business.
All right. So no, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people come from employment into entrepreneurship. And as an individual, as a consumer, there's like consumer protections. But in business, there's no business protections. So, it's like buyer beware, and your research and knowledge is so important, because, you could miss one thing that could make all the difference in the world between your success and failure. So, if you're doing your due diligence, those are some key things that you want to look at. What have you seen that sort of people have missed that have derailed their success as a franchisee?
Yeah, so I've seen to where they've missed is really that key of, hey, I love the business. I talked with the franchisor. He seems great. And they missed that part of talking with the existing franchisees, and they miss that part because they fall in love with the franchisor. So the last thing you want to do is take of course the franchisor is being honest and they're good, but you do want to look under the hood. It'd be like buying a car and not taking it for a test drive, or you're looking under the hood. You want to look under the hood, behind that curtain, just to make sure, is everything as rosy as they make it sound?
Yep. So definitely. Okay. So definitely looking at that. And then also a lot of people going into business, may not realize that it's not like making an investment in the stock market, or it's not like having a job where you can just say, I don't like this anymore, I'm getting out. So have you seen people that have run into that situation, and what are some of the challenges around that if you want to get out after you've gotten in?
Yeah, so that makes it a little bit harder. You might be looking at selling your business, even a franchise business, for a loss, maybe just covering what your equipment costs were, your territory costs. So it is very, very hard to get out of when you do something like that. I shouldn't say hard. You can sell your business, so it's not like you can't get out of it. But if you don't do your due diligence and research, it just definitely makes it a tough and a costly mistake, and you just hope to minimize your mistake by getting the return on when you want to sell it. But you are able to sell. You're even able to sell a territory in a franchise of, even if you haven't even done anything to it, you could just sell that territory back to get a little bit of the franchise fee that you paid for. So that's one thing. And then also one thing that when looking at a business, when you're looking at a franchise business, one of the common things some people might make are, hey, I'm in a franchise business. I just have to, the franchisor is going to do all my work, and they're going to get my customers and all that. Well, I would tell you the franchisor is there for your support. You get into that system for support. But at the end of the day, running the business and making your business successful has to do with you. You make it successful. So, being in a franchise system, it helps you to be successful in your failure rate. But at the end of the day, it is all about you making your business go and being involved in your business.
Okay, excellent. And, on a certain level, it's like investing in real estate. You can get out of your real estate, but depending on how fast and where the market is, you may get out losing a lot of money, or you may end up upside down if you borrowed. I run into business owners all the time, not just franchise business owners, but their own business owners that may be upside down. And, that can be a difficult situation because usually you have to work yourself out of it. And that can be difficult. But, that's the only way, that's the only option if you're going to maintain your financial, personal financial situation. So, it's always good to understand that, this is real life, and there is real risk, and when you have a business, you're taking on that level of risk. So it's important to treat it appropriately. Like you said, you need to do your due diligence. They say a lot of people will spend less time doing due diligence on their house or their car that they're spending $50,000 or $200,000 on than they do on a restaurant that they go to. And when you think about it, that's kind of crazy because, it's important to sort of understand that.
The last thing you want to do is buy a business to buy yourself a job because you have to work so hard just to make it, just to get even. That's the last thing you want to do when it comes to business ownership.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You got to be committed. I always say that, for a while you're going to make less and work harder than you would if you had a job. So if you're not ready to do that, then you don't need to go into business. So excellent. So now, one other thing that I've found is, a lot of franchisees, one of the things that surprised them a lot or was harder or worse than they expected was dealing with employees and hiring employees. And what has been your experience, and what do you think are some of the keys to alleviating some of those challenges?
Yeah, so dealing with employees is always one that a lot of people just look at it as, oh my gosh, it's the last thing I want to deal with. I would say, you need employees to make your business run. There's some businesses out there that you don't have to have employees, but then that gets really hard to scale if you don't have, people in your place. It's where a common mistake of business owners do make are, I'm just going to do it myself because I know how to do it better than anybody else. Then that's the whole thing of, you just bought yourself a job. You're not building your business. So what I do about when it comes to employees is, you want to hire really slow. You want to hire the right people. You do not want to hire just because they come in and they're breathing. You want to take your time, hire slow, hire right, train your employees, spend and invest the time it's going to take to train them, and then treat them right. But the other thing you want to do, especially if you're in a retail service industry, is you basically want to have enough employees. If someone calls out sick, you have someone to replace them. If your lead tech has to go on 2 weeks vacation, absolutely you go on vacation because we believe in work-life balance. And I have another guy that's going to pick up the slack. I would say you want to overhire because the last thing you want to do is get into a situation where your employees control the business, because you can't afford to lose one of them. You always want to be training. It's an ongoing battle. It's an ongoing system. And you always want to have a bench and enough employees to where you don't have to rely on just one or two employees, and then your business would be dead.
So yeah, so definitely employees are key. I think, these, what James is saying is also true of non-franchise businesses. Hiring employees can be a challenge, and you're not always going to get it right. Even if you have hired a lot of employees in the past, it's not 100% success, but there's things you can do to make it a lot more likely. Like you said, take your time, be deliberate, train people, make an effort to make it easier for them to be successful.
And cut bait quick if you make the mistake.
Okay. Fire fast.
Yes, exactly.
So, and one other thing that, a lot of times people buying franchises may come from corporate or, professional line of work. And many times with what you're paying and the type of job you have, you may be dealing with different social economic class than you're used to. And that can prove challenging, what's a good way to learn how to effectively deal with that, or get the education, knowledge, or skills to deal with that more effectively?
I think it all comes up to building your business with a great culture, having that culture of, everyone is equal here. We're going to treat everyone with respect. We're going to follow rules and guidelines, and we're going to be one big team that is striving for that. We're going to set clear expectations, and we're going to make sure that those expectations are going to be met no matter where you're from, how old you are, what you're doing. We're going to all strive for that same goal. And if we have anybody there that looks like they're going to drag the team down, then we're going to take action and get rid of them, because our culture stands for that we're a family, we're a team, and we respect one another.
Okay. Excellent. So it's almost 9. I know we could go on and on and on about this, because it's, something that we do, but not only do, but it's a part of us, like that. Small business is a big part of me. Franchising is a big part of you, even if you, don't have to talk about, or it just comes out sometimes. And so, but before we go, I always like to have guests take a minute to share 3 key things that people should take away from our conversation. Definitely allows people to focus on 3 things that they can start implementing even tomorrow to help them be a better leader of their organization. But not only that, most people can't remember more than 3 things at a time. So we're going to make it easy for them to be able to do that. So I'm going to show a short video about, my first book. And then right after that, James is going to share the 3 things that we should be taking away from our conversation this evening.
My first book is Running Your Small Business Like a Pro. And really, that took me 5 years to write. It was, your first book, as you know, is the hardest one.
Right, exactly. Let me take a...
But it really took the work of working with 500 plus business owners.
So 500, wow, that's great.
Looked at the patterns that I've seen and really broke down the things that they needed to know in terms of, how did they get where they are now? What's their most important job as a business owner? What is their greatest fear? And then, is it your employees, or are you crazy? Because, definitely managing people is a challenge for small businesses, and just, important things about financing and retirement, all those things that you need to know as a business owner, but where would you have learned them? Who's teaching you that? So many business owners don't know those things.
Okay, welcome back here to Leadership Live. We're talking about how to run your business like a franchise. We're getting ready to close out with James Hilovsky, and he's just going to share 3 key things that you should take away from what we discussed this evening.
I definitely think one is fear, and fear is overcome fear of either going into the business, going into a business, fear of growing your business, or fear of just being in your business every day. Don't let fear overcome you. Just there's going to be highs and lows of business. You're going to have to work through it, and do not let fear paralyze you into making bad decisions at all. Another thing I would say is do your homework of if you're looking at buying a business, buying a franchise, investigate into that business, peer under the hood, peer behind the curtain, talk with franchisees, talk with customers if it's an existing business you're looking to buy. So always do your due diligence and doing your homework. And the last thing really is hire, create a great culture in your working environment. Get people out of there that are going to pull you down, and manage the employees, treat them with respect, and just build that culture, and always be on the lookout for hiring employees and treating employees and having a bench to where you can have a successful business.
Okay, no, that's great. Great advice. So don't let fear paralyze you. So no analysis paralysis, or allow things to become bigger in your mind than they really are. And that can be scary sometimes because, like you said, in business, you get higher highs, but you get lower lows, and it can be scary at times. And sometimes you got to not listen to people who haven't been in business, because their level of risk averseness is probably much higher than it needs to be for a business owner. So, it's America. You can always come back, even if you lose everything. So
right. You can always come back 100%.
So, worst comes to worst, you can come back. Do your homework, prepare. And I would even add to that, talk to other business owners, not even in the franchise system, and other franchises and franchisees and franchisors, to get more perspective. Because I've gotten some great perspective, because, sometimes within one, they're not going to tell you everything, but, there's, basically reputations out there that others may know or be willing to share with you. So it's important for that. And like you said, and then, create a great culture, no matter what business, what organization you have. It's important to do that. And most times, a lot of business owners don't understand that they need to do it or what it is, but that's what creates the organization that can run without you. And it creates an organization that you love to be at, because it's a great environment, rather than, a difficult time every day. So, so this has been great, James. I appreciate you taking the time to join us this evening. Anything you want to share before we close out?
I had a great time, and I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours, because even I've gleaned stuff and learned stuff, and it's just always great to come on and talk business. So I just want to thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, same here. So hang out for a minute, definitely, as we close out. And once again, I thought this was a great show. Having great guests. Thanks, Victoria, for your comment. Definitely each week we have some tremendous guests. So next week, our topic is mitigating the greatest risk to you and your small business. This is our first time kind of covering this topic as well, because most people don't even realize what the greatest risk to themselves and their small business is. And a lot of times people don't figure that out until it's too late. And our guest, Jewel, she actually ran into that risk and really hurt her in her business. So she's going to share her story and what she learned and, things that you can do to avoid what happened to her. So hopefully you can join us next week, same bat time, same bat place, and hope that you have a great week in between, and look forward to seeing you then. And always remember, at the end of the day, the more that you know, the faster and more successfully your business is going to grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.